Okay, there we go. Anyway, hello again. It's Samantha on Embracing the Divine Feminine. And I wanted to get in here again because when I was talking about burnout the other day, holy cow, I got so emotional at the end. And I wasn't quite done talking. So I'm finding that with all of the energies that are coming in from the sun, that we are really getting triggered. What it does, we get these downpours of light, and the light helps us purge. So when we're purging, we can get very emotional, and it forces us to look at those triggers that are coming up. So it could be just people making you mad. It could be your who knows, your family members or whatever feeling obligated, or people really putting things on you that you may not want to do. So um anyway, let's get into the topic of burnout and how sound can help. So, like, my story and how I became burnout, but there are many, many, many people that are still dealing with it. And it's not just adults, you guys. Like, kids are getting so burnt out as well. If we have them in sports from the time they're 5 years old, what we're finding out is by the time they're in high school, they're so beat up and so burnt out that they really don't love the sport anymore, and they don't really want to do it. And sometimes I find that with sports, a lot of times that is like the parent wants it because, they're living vicariously through their children. So that's something that we've got to watch. I've seen it time and time again, especially with my step boys and them playing sports, and just the injuries, I don't know, there's so much involved. There's a lot of emotion and there's a lot of training, and then sometimes they're so beat up by high school that they can't play anymore. And so that's really unfortunate. But I do know some kids that were held back and that are still doing really well, and started sports later. But I know that I kind of went through that as I was a teenager too, because starting in junior high, I played basketball and I was in cheer, and then I was a dancer too. And then as I went into high school, I became drill team and cheerleader and all of that stuff. And then by my senior year, I was so burnt that I just didn't want to do anything. I quit it all. And I probably shouldn't have. I probably should have stayed, at least in cheer or something. I mean, it was so fun and it kept me so involved. And then guess what happens? Then you have all this free time, and then who knows, you're going to start getting in trouble potentially. But anyway, yeah, it's just not us adults that are getting burnout. Like I said, kids with sports and all of that. Think about if somebody's playing sports and they have their schoolwork. That's a lot. And then plus what kids are going through. So really try to be patient with your children because they do go through burnout as well. And academically, okay, so I saw that in my daughters. Especially my oldest, she was part of the STEM program and she wanted to be an engineer. And so she really pushed herself really hard to get those degrees and everything. And I mean, she did. She got a full ride scholarship through from high school, and went through the engineering program and then got her master's. But she was pretty much burnt out the whole time. And, then we see these kids, like I just saw a kid the other day pulling his backpack out of the car. He couldn't even carry it. He had to drag it. It was so heavy with books. So, we're just kind of in this society of doing more and more and more. And sometimes it feels like we're getting less and less back. So it's time to really shift that paradigm and find ways and really set some boundaries about what is important to you. Okay. Even as young kids and teenagers, I'm talking to you too, because of this whole sports and school scenario. Like you're being pushed very hard and it can be very difficult. And especially if you have somebody breathing down your neck, it can really make it rough. But it's okay to stand up and say, hey, I'm getting tired. I don't know what's going on. I don't feel like myself. I don't feel like I have much joy in my life anymore. And truly, the balance is we can work hard. Okay, working hard's great. I don't mind working hard at all. Even physical labor, I'll do it. Whatever needs to be done. It's not that big of a deal, but if we keep doing it over and over and over, even repetition and not being challenged can also be a cause of burnout. Because if you feel like you have more potential and you are not in alignment with the job that you have, that can cause burnout. I mean, every time you turn around, these things that we're dealing with right now can cause burnout. So, as you know, I think the easiest and fastest way for me and you, I would say, but that's personal preference, but sound and sound healing is the best way for me to turn around any type of emotion I have trapped in my body. Of course, burnout's a little different because it takes recovery and it does take time to heal your nervous system. And some of those things we can start just with what we're taking into our body, okay? So food is very important. Hydration is very important. Social media it can burn us out as well, okay? Because then we start pushing ourselves too hard to compete, right? We need to get out of that competition mindset, okay? Because as we get older, right, you're better off concentrating more on something you love and that is your talent so that you can share it and it's specific to you, that and it's fulfilling, right? So that you don't get burnout. And it doesn't mean that just because you are, say, taking on a career that is maybe your love and passion, you can still get burnout, okay? So it's mostly about boundaries, I think is the biggest thing. Knowing when to say no to things that are coming in, excuse me, and prioritizing fun, okay? You can schedule things, but you've got to have fun involved. Because it's balance, right? If we're all work and no play, we're going to get burnt out. If we're all play and no work, we're going to be freaking out because we're not paying our bills, right? So there is a fine balance, and that's truly what you're trying to find. So now let me get to sound and how sound can help. Sound just relaxes your central nervous system. And I'm delivering frequencies to you. So your body is smart enough. You don't even have to be able to hear physically. Even if you're deaf, you will get the sounds because your body feels it. And I'm sure you have seen plenty of either blind or deaf musicians because they can feel it in their body. And every cell in our body responds to sound. And what it does when we have something out of balance, and then I can bring in sound and specific frequencies, what it does is it brings, the sound helps me bring whatever is out of resonance into resonance very easily, okay? And your body knows it, your body recognizes it, and That's the best way, the easiest way I have found to go rest for an hour, be in a sound bath, and you will see profound results. I recommend 4 times a month, so like once a week, and little specialty clips, which I do offer specialty clips for. They're just little short ones, they're like 6 minutes that help kind of reset you. So if you're feeling anxious or if you are looking for more abundance or things like this, I have short little ones that go along and support the bigger hour-long sound baths, or sometimes 90 minutes. Okay. Now, I also offer one-on-one, and I like these because I get to know you. I can see what you're dealing with. We have, a call ahead of time so that I can get to know you, and I can create songs specifically for you and programs for you to help you move forward faster and clear some of these older things, okay? Now, when you are in a sound bath, well, let's back up a little bit. Okay, to get ready for a sound bath, okay, I want anyone to get the most out of a sound bath, and there's several things that you'll want to know. Caffeination, keep it to a minimum, because you'll find that when you are super caffeinated, so if you were to go in the morning after you have your coffee, your mind will be racing. So you can, over time, train yourself to bring your mind into peace, okay? And that does take time. That takes about 6 months of training yourself to, look, I'm going to go to the sound bath. I'm going to put my yoga mat out. I'm going to lay down. I put my mask on. I am out. Like, I am totally in my zen before they ever start the sound bath, okay? So that is one of the easiest ways. Let's see. But I do love the doing at least 4 times a week with the little recaps throughout the week. But the 75-minute one that I offer is very specific to you, and I highly recommend it. If you're just getting started, we can create a plan for you that just helps you overcome all of these things that are going to come up, right? That's another thing that sound does, is it brings up dense energy that needs to be seen so we can release it, okay? And what does that look like? It could be just, actually you'll notice it mostly emotionally. So it could be anger, it could be sadness, grief. These are things that are coming to the surface, just telling us, hey, I need to be seen. And usually it's a scared part of yourself that you can just say, hey, I don't know where you came from, but just know I'm not scared anymore. I'm not a child anymore. And I support my inner child by playing and making sure that I get play in my life, okay? That's when the inner child will act up, is when we're not giving ourselves enough time to relax, play, and have fun. And truly, that's what we are as life workers. We are here to play, create, and have fun and bring support to others. We are a bridge. And so we're extending our hand and we're saying, guess what? I have found a good way to heal that does not involve big pharma or the healthcare system, okay? Now, I am not a doctor, so I cannot tell you, I don't know what you have going on in your body. So that's why the 75-minute one-on-one is so good if you're interested in that, because we can go through your full history. Okay. But anyway, it's really easy. Go to a sound bath, enjoy it, get to know what it's about throughout the sound bath. Okay. When you're in your sound bath, there are certain things that can happen. You can just completely relax, go to sleep. You can control your mind. Like I say, that might take a little bit of time to get used to. Excuse me. To quiet your mind, okay, and to get the most out of your sound bath. So be patient with that. The first few times you may be like, I didn't really get anything out of that. But what you'll find is there's some things that will come up emotionally, okay? But during that sound bath, you may see lights. You may see like just flickering lights. You may astroplane. You may leave your body. And this is all okay. This is part of it to take you to just deep relaxation. You don't need to judge it. You will come back into your body as soon as we are done with the sound bath. That's what I call you back into your body when we're done. Okay? So that's during a sound bath. So you may have all of these psychedelic experiences without psychedelics, okay? It's not necessary. Then after a sound bath, so say for a week, you may be feeling a little, these emotions coming up, like, who knows? I mean, it could be sadness. That's what I was finding last week is I just had some sadness and I didn't know where it was coming from. So what I did is I just said, hey, I don't know where you're coming from, but I appreciate you for showing me things that are happening within my body, and I release you. Okay? Now let's get back, because I carried on. Sometimes I get moving on my conversations. The best way to get the most out of your sound bath when you're new to this and you're beginning to get into your groove is you'll want a mat, something to go under your knees, a blanket, and a mask, okay? That's what I really like. Now, I find that if I have something under my knees, it takes the pressure off of my back, so I'm able to enjoy it more fully. Because if not, if you're just on like a hard surface, your back will start hurting after a while. And it's okay, you can flip on your side. That's always nice. Usually that's okay for an hour sound bath. But when you get into like an hour, 90 minutes, something like that, you may need more support for your body because you truly want to be relaxed the whole time, to drop into those deep meditative states, okay? Another thing is to make sure that your phone is turned off, all of your notifications, and letting everyone know. If you're doing this from home, like I do online ones, you'll want to let everyone know around you, hey, I am doing a sound bath and please don't disrupt me, because it does take you out of that meditative state, and we're here trying to recover, okay? I have found that sound healing is the fastest way to recover things that are going on in my body. Okay, it's really helped my thyroid. It has really helped my vision. It has helped my mental health. It has helped slow whirling dervish thoughts that are really unnecessary because that is my 3D mind. That is not my heart coherence, okay? We are in a time that we need to be listening to our heart and not our mind, okay? Our mind can lead us astray. Our mind is ego, and it is trying to keep us safe or keeping up with the Joneses. That is not truly what it is. When we are in our power and in our presence, we call in what we need, period, okay? So it's a lot about having trust and faith in our lives and what comes to us. No, we are souls here trying to help other people. So ultimately things will come our way. So we just have to be patient. We have to trust. I would love to have an individual conversation with you. If there's something you're struggling with, I am here. If it happens to be burnout, that's great. It doesn't have to be burnout, okay? I am a health coach. I've worked in many different facets of healthcare. I'm a respiratory therapist. I know a lot about breathing, And so, breathing and spirituality, they go well together too. And I will be talking more about that coming up. So, we do have some more fun and exciting things coming up. So, keep watching. I'm really excited about this, you guys. And I am an emotional person. So, sometimes I will get emotional because I care. I care about the things that I went through and that I learned, and I'm here to help other people and to share it with you. So I would love to hear from you. So please like and subscribe. I love to hear the comments, and I will be back here soon talking about more fun stuff. So talk to you later. Bye.